what it means to be immutable, essentially.
So, how familiar is everybody with the concept of immutable infrastructure? So the concept is basically, in the old days, when servers were live, people would log into them, make changes, and there would be no traceability. There would be inconsistencies between your environment that you would encounter. There would be drift in configuration. I'm sure you've heard that term before. And immutable architecture tries to solve all that by only allowing change being driven through your DevSecOps pipeline. So by only changing the repository, you can actually change the servers themselves. They're replaced, never modified, and therefore immutable.
Exactly. So combining the last two topics here, looking at the fact that essentially we have these instances out there, but they're at that point, they're part of our skeleton. They're there, but they are not being managed essentially by our cloud offering at this point. So we want managed services to manage these instances going forward. Can you talk to us about how we connect it back? Brian, do you want to talk a little bit about it?
I think I got this.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
So this is the crux of our launch phase. Now, there's two schools of thought of immutable infrastructure. Is that when you deploy, it never changes. And then there's also some that say, no, it always has a state, so the state's always changing, right? For our launch model, it's basically, we do the immutable infrastructure, we build it so that it's immutable, but it can only know about the other components in its environment, right? How does it work? What is its dependencies? What other live infrastructure do I need to interact with? But it doesn't know about what's managing it, right? When it wakes up, right? What kind of granular policies am I in a dev environment, a staging environment, a prod environment? You don't have to have all those build profiles, right? Let managed services discover those things and enforce them before releasing in the live operations. So we do that for dynamic discovery using AWS inventory. What it allows us to do is deploy managed services will monitor all the runtime environments as well as use the accelerators for configuration stacks. They're all connected. It monitors and will discover any new AWS inventory that gets popped up. Once it does, based off of whatever you push through your DevSecOps pipeline, you'll have that granularity to enforce certain types of policy, even test, experiment with through dev, stage, prod on the infrastructure. And then once that enforcement, you now have all your security controls compliant, and it already knows how to work with the environment because it was immutable to begin with. It's released into operations and then it's never touched again.
So really this phase is about achieving the fact that we need to make changes to our environment on a regular basis. Ongoing operations is definitely going to need to be changed due to security, compliance issues, and not only that, but making changes to our application and delivering that value to our clients in a fashion that's much faster than what they're used to, right? So at this point, what we've done is we have connected it back to Deloitte Cloud Managed Services. They are now going to take over operations for our instances once it's been deployed. We talked about the traceability, the fact that it's all repository driven, so we know exactly what it looks like. We don't have to worry about whether or not operations is going to make changes that we're not used to, or whether our staging environment looks exactly like our production environment. So Brian, talking a little bit about operations and what it's like to maintain compliance. What I know in a traditional environment, it's much harder, making sure that we have those different security requirements taken care of, and ongoing monitoring at that point is something we need to take care of.
Sure. So something to point out here. So I'm a old school infrastructure person, and now we're actually working together with developers instead of working against them, building this environment out. From like a troubleshooting perspective, we're no longer logging into servers to troubleshoot instances. They're actually just redeployed based on auto-scaling rules and health checks. So that in itself is unique in that, like Ben had said earlier, there's no drift between environments because our development staging prod it's an identical replica of the previous environment. And from my perspective, something as simple as like operating system patching. What we do for this is we patch 2 servers and then we roll that through our pipeline. So instead of patching 40, 50 servers in place, we're only patching 2. So it's a huge time savings.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, that's really the benefit here is from Deloitte Cloud Managed Services perspective, we're actually able to focus on the application, like getting back to delivering value to our clients. We're able to focus on those pieces versus whether or not our servers are patched. And Brian's able to focus his energy and his team's energy on making sure that we are patching one server and deploying that change to the entire environment, as well as making sure that the correct security requirements are taken care of as well. So this really helped us to hit the ground running. We were able to deliver at a speed that we never have in the federal space before, just due to the level of accelerators that we were able to receive. And now this pipeline built specifically in GovCloud is now. So just finishing up here, what we'd like to do is just kind of recap some of the information that we already provided from a managed services perspective, as well as let folks know that essentially we have a level of security as well as a level of accelerators in Deloitte Cloud Managed Services that provide a number of different things, including that cyber piece that is always very tough to get over in your first hurdle, as well as some of our service management aspects, DevOps automation as well. We've done this for a number of clients. We're constantly tweaking the content and the accelerators to make sure that we have the latest information and latest for our implementation teams as well. If you guys want to talk to any folks afterwards as well, we have a number of leaders here on the piece here. You can definitely talk to them about managed services and our strategy moving forward. But if you have any questions about our implementation, please feel free. We're definitely love to answer any questions you have.
Any questions? No? Well, Alphonse, Van, Brian, thank you so much. Yeah, they started it Sunday at 4 p.m. and it's like full circle, and you're ending it. Good job, good job. And thank you all for joining us. Be sure to check out those deep dive